Hello, I'm Noodle Yeti, and welcome to the building of a city called Westdale in City Skylines. In the first part, we reached a population of 650, and we hit our first milestone of Little Hamlet, where we had unlocked garbage, healthcare, as well as a few educational facilities and taxes. So in this episode, our goal is to hit the next milestone and begin implementing some of everything here. I don't think we'll be able to implement everything in this part. I think that's just going to take too much time. But our goal is to at least reach it and start, and then see where it goes from there. So in the last part, there's a couple things that I want to address in this one that I did not like. And it is this commercial we have right here on the inside of this neighborhood. I think it's just a little bit too much. And I think I'm going to reduce it to just this little corner store and this gas station here. And to help alleviate our commercial demand and the fact that we're about to delete most of it, I was thinking about sacrificing all of this farmland over here and instead putting a commercial district over here where we could maybe incorporate some of the either unique buildings or monuments or parks or something in front of it all, just to kind of add to it and kind of make a nice area where people want to go, spend money and whatnot. And so that way we don't have as many trucks going through our residential area. The next couple things I want to address is in this industry area, we have a few of our city services such as sewage, recycling, and a coal power plant. I'm actually going to move these over here into this corner near the commercial and fun area. And in the future, when we do get landscaping, kind of maybe tuck it away behind some fences and trees and whatnot. I'm hoping it doesn't interfere with our ability to get over this highway and then across the river here. And that actually leads into my next thing, is the coal power plant. I actually regret going to that form of electricity. I wish I had just stayed with the windmills that I was doing over here off to the side. And while I was editing the last video, I decided I am going to go back to windmills and put them over here. And I thought, since they do create a noise pollution, which people who move in don't want to move in around them because they'll get sick or whatnot. So I was thinking I'll continue our industry area over here on the other side of our little education campus. So that way these farms down here will send their goods up here to then be processed into whatever type of goods that we end up putting there. But it won't be a whole lot because it'll be a mix between windmills and industry. So to start, let's go ahead and move our commercial here. All right, so I've kind of got a general idea of how I wanted to lay this area out. Unfortunately, I can't finish it because we don't have the tile next to us purchased yet. So I think once we reach the next milestone and I buy that tile over there, that's when I can finish out this little commercial area and really complete it. And so the next thing on the plan is to go ahead and move our recycling and water treatment over here into this little nook. And then after that is when I will go ahead and think about moving, or not think about it, where I will be moving and turning the coal power plant into wind turbines. There we go. I got these moved over here, and I think I have them in such a way. Oops, I forgot about power. We do have to temporarily jump power for a lot of this stuff, which is unfortunate, but hopefully as the city fills in, we don't have to jump power as often. And I think where I have these placed won't conflict with the road that I want coming off of here, which I'm thinking will be right around here, just to keep things simple. Come off here, highway or overpass the highway, curve around the rock, and then cross this river at a 90. And it looks like it comes right into this area that has either oil or ore. I'm not quite sure what that color on the terrain means, but it's one of the two. And it looks like it cuts right through farmland. So if we wanted to use some farmland here, or if we wanted to do ore, we could, but we're going to be losing some of the ore to the bridge eventually. But that's not what's important right now. We have to keep our head out of the clouds and focus on what's in front of us here. Looks like we satisfied most of our commercial with just the few that we put down here. I wanted to keep a little bit of space in between everything until a later date. And I'm thinking of eventually upgrading this to maybe a higher density commercial area, since I'd like to put in some unique buildings in here. And that's one of the reasons why I didn't lay down any roads in here yet. That's because I just don't know the sizing of some of the unique buildings and which unique buildings I'd like to put in. Well, I'll go ahead and find out once we get these unique buildings, and I'll kind of skim through them real quick and figure it out. I did reset all of my unlocked unique buildings for this, so that way the only ones we'll have are the ones that this city has unlocked. And I'm kind of excited for that. I did readjust the industry area here, if you noticed during the time lapse. I felt like the intersection coming off of this road right here was too close to the roundabout. So I kind of tried to pull it back a little bit. This was a little bit too awkward, so I pulled it back one more, and I feel that's perfectly fine, having pretty much two entrances and exits here. If we want later on, we could even put a district over this, extend it out, and put a policy that bans heavy traffic so these trucks can't go through this first one, and have this entrance right across from these homes simply be for the workers and city services to get in. So now that that's done, it's time to go ahead and transfer our coal power plant back to wind turbines and get it out of this area. Before we do that, I know deleting the coal power plant is going to reduce our electricity, so we'll move that over just one. Let's get into it. Oh, sorry, before we get into it, something I wanted to mention was this next tile I want to buy. There's one over here, and that's simply because I really do want to finish this commercial area, but also I feel like it'll give us the most developable land to expand our city and hit more milestones. And so thinking about that, I want to think about my road layout and how that's going to affect, or how that will affect our road layout. And so I wanted to look at the terrain here, and you can kind of see the yellowish farmland here kind of starts to curve up and out and away from the highway. And you can see that reflected with the trees here. So I was thinking that this main road that we have that continues down will actually curve in and then cut across our entire area here that stays within our future two-tile boundary, and that this road will go ahead and continue following along the farmland here, and it will meet up over here, and we'll turn it into a roundabout there. And then that roundabout could continue following down into an intersection over here further down the highway. And we'll have a separate road, and it's kind of hard to see with this fog. I'm sorry about that, but it is what it is. I was thinking about having another road come down here and run along the highway as well, kind of like another collector or arterial. And since we're going to have so many connections over here, what is that? That's the main road, a bunch of industry over here. And since it's going to be an awkward angle, I think, yeah, because if we look at it, if it's curving up and out, and then we want it to come back down and around, I think we'll actually turn it into a roundabout up here, where this road can meet up into it, and this road can come off of that, and then we can have another one that cuts across. And that'll kind of also prevent us from having turn right on whatever this street is. Let's just pretend this right street is Jefferson and the top one's Thompson or something. Turn right on Jefferson and Thompson, and if we just continue the same road out to over there, that same thing would happen. So I feel like if we put another roundabout here, we can rename the road and prevent that kind of confusion. So yeah, let's go ahead and start moving our power over. Alright, so we have the electricity moved over. We barely have enough though, we're actually under. But we're out of money, so we kind of have to wait until our income raises just a little bit. And I think while I kind of want to think about how and where I want to place the next windmill. And I'm thinking somewhere right around here on this curve. Because if I put the industry in here, I'm not going to have it directly on this road, so that's kind of fine if I put windmills along this road as well, and I think it would really fit into the farming aesthetic. But if we look at this, we're not going to get as much power out of the one along this road as we would the rest. That's perfectly fine. We just need a little bit more. Alright, we have the money for our final windmill here. I don't want to put it too close to that road because I do want to upgrade it eventually. As you can see, it's a little bit outside of the darker area, which means there's a little bit less wind here. So its effectiveness is not going to be exactly what we need. As you can see, I already put down the roundabout here, and I decided to put a windmill inside of it because I felt like that was just a nice touch, like something that really added to the area that made it a little bit unique. And I tried to place these in such a way where I could still lay down some roads in here and put down a few industry processing buildings in here and not have it be too obstructed by all the windmills. So if we look at our electricity, we are definitely over and we have a little bit of headroom. If we look at our budget here, we're only at 75, so I might have actually put down too many. So we're just going to crank this up to 100 and leave it alone now, I think. I think we're at the point where we don't really have to worry about it. Oh, wow, that is way over. Okay. Let's see how much electricity. It's producing 8, 7. Yeah, whoops, my bad. Oh, well. At least we're ready. Ready and prepared. So that is that. I think we've moved our commercial. We've moved our city services off into this little corner over here. It sucks that it pollutes the ground and it looks ugly, but not much we can do about that, I don't think. Maybe there is, but I am unaware of how. So we moved our commercial. We've begun this commercial and kind of going to be a unique building area. We've expanded a little bit upon our industry here, just as a byproduct of trying to begin this commercial area. And we've reverted back to wind power instead of coal. So I think we're ready to go ahead and start zoning some things in and just letting the city expand in hopes of hitting the next milestone. So as you can see, I've been going really slow with zoning this residential, just kind of one house at a time kind of thing. Some of you might be saying that's pretty boring. How do you handle that? And the answer is I put on a podcast or put on a movie or YouTube or something and just kind of chill. And as I notice a house moves in, I'll zone the next one. The reason for this is because I want to prevent any sort of death wave from happening. Death waves are when you have too many people die at the same time, and that's typically caused by zoning everything all at the same time. And so by doing this, it will kind of stagger the deaths and it won't overwhelm our death care at all. Alright, so it looks like our residential demand is too low. It looks like people are still moving in, but it looks like it has skyrocketed our industry. So I think I'm going to go over and beginning zoning this in. Now, industry, this is where we have to be careful, or we begin to have to be careful, where since we can't view our population statistics just yet, we have to manually kind of look at each of these to see how many jobs are available. Because as soon as we start zoning too much industry and we don't have enough workers, buildings will start to complain and will eventually abandon, and I really don't want abandoned buildings, because the only way abandoned buildings get replaced by a new industry building is when there is enough industry demand for someone to want to rebuild in that building or over that building. So as you can see, just a few industry buildings we put down cut our demand in half and immediately skyrocketed our residential yet again. So I think we can go ahead and call that good and go back to zoning housing. Alright, it looks like we filled this area out. That's 2 neighborhoods complete. Hopefully this will be enough to push us into the next milestone. I'm really hoping so. How much is it? 950. We need 100 more. I'm not quite sure. I hope it will be. But looks like we have some commercial demand, so I'm going to keep zoning in a little bit more over here. Alright, it looks like our commercial demand is almost evened out. It's a little on the low side. So I'm actually going to call that good. And in the meantime, I had cleaned up a little bit of the power lines just to get rid of those temporary jumps. I think since we can't do any more residential just yet, we're going to go ahead and... I don't know. That's kind of strange. I don't know what I want to do. I think maybe we could possibly fill in this little corner. I don't know about that corner. Maybe this corner here with some houses. And then put a park over here on this side. I was hoping to do a park on both sides. But it doesn't look like I will get that luxury. Maybe we could put some houses in on this side over here as well as this road. Need to maximize our space here. Go 4x4 house still. I think this spot is probably the best. Makes the most sense at least. Because you can see we do have our industry backed up against the main road. So kind of gives me the impression that it would be okay to put our residential up against this road. I was hoping to save it for some landscaping and some trees to kind of minimize the sound going into the neighborhood, but that's okay. There we go, we got it. We reached our next milestone of Worthy Village, a population of 950. Some of the unlocks we get is a new tile, some districts and policies and specializations. We get some emergency services, which I believe is only the fire station. We get the police department and some unique buildings, which we can take a look at and think about putting in our commercial area. We can unlock some new general industry specializations, forestry and agriculture, residential of, I believe that, yeah, self-sufficient buildings, commercial specialization of organic and local produce. We do get some policies we could put into place. We're not going to be doing those this time around. I actually don't like them because they decrease our taxes by quite a bit. I think it's 5 cents a building per each of these policies. But some of the buildings that we unlock is a firehouse, a police station, a high-capacity elementary school, which I think is a bit too much for the size of our city. We get a fire safety center, which is essentially a smaller version of the firehouse. A police security center, which I think is the same size and efficiency as the police station. I'm not quite sure. And then we have the firehouse and police station. The alternate appearances to some of these up here. So if we go up here and we look at this, the unique buildings that we have unlocked, let's see if we have unlocked any. Looks like we're working up to the winter market of a population of 5,500. I'm not too worried about that one. We're not on a snowfall map, so I don't think it really makes much sense to have that one, but maybe it'll look nice in there. I don't know. We do have the Statue of Liberty for some reason. City produces a total of 5,000 units of goods. I don't think we'll be putting that in. At least not anytime soon. I think that's a bit overkill for our city. We do have a panda sanctuary, a temple complex, and an oriental pearl tower. I don't believe that their aesthetics will fit with what our city currently has. Maybe in the future, if we ever decide to do like a Chinatown, Koreatown, Japantown or something, these could possibly fit into those. But as of now, they don't. This city hall gives me ideas because I know I want to put the fire station and police department in their own little area. So maybe we can do kind of like a little city area, city services area, where we put in the police station, fire department, and when we unlock the city hall, we could put that in there as well. And government offices here as well. Average garbage piling per building, at least 40. I'm not quite sure what that is or how to unlock it, but I think a quick Google search when I'm editing this video will probably tell me how to do that. A hypermarket. If a supermarket is not enough for you, this is your choice. Hypermarket has everything from groceries to home appliances under one roof. And that's not all. There's free 24/7, free parking 24/7, and special discounts every day. I think that would be kind of neat to put into our commercial area over there. Depending on how big it is though, if it's extremely massive, then maybe not, because an extremely massive market might be a little bit too big for our city size. That's what I thought of that when I looked at this shopping center right here. It looks to be multiple stories. Definitely don't want that in the build yet. And that looks to be about it for those unique buildings. But I know that some buildings don't show up until we actually look at... Oh, we don't want to. We actually want to pause the game because we're not building the fire station and police department yet. People will start to complain. But if we go into unique buildings, we click and we kind of scroll through, we might find some things that weren't on that list. Don't ask me why. Sometimes that happens. Just like this, we have a whole bunch of buildings over here that were not there. These are actually all just hotels. These are the seaside resort. There's a couple things in here that are not. So we got hotel, 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 hotel. Oh no, this one's a museum. Coast Guard Heritage Museum. But a lot of these are just... I think that's actually the only odd one out. I believe all the rest are still hotels. And a few of them are actually piers, which we don't need because we're not near the water. And then we get into these skyscrapers. We don't need these yet either. We don't have... I don't believe we have enough population or industry demand. Now, these don't actually function as industry buildings. They function as tourist attractions. But I believe we don't have enough for these yet. They definitely look out of place. If we keep going down here, we start to run into the Korean pack, I believe, where we have a Chirps Thumbs Up Plaza. I'm not going to do that one. Even though it would be kind of neat to have a park already before we have the parks unlocked. I'm not going to do it. I just don't like the way the asset looks. How the people in it are like... You see the little bird up at the top here? There are people with that bird head as their head. It's kind of weird. I think this food alley might be kind of neat in this commercial area. especially if we look at the Wintervale market, depending on how it looks with that, maybe they could go good together, like have them across the street from one another. We have the Korean Food Alley on one side and then the Wintervale market on the other. And I think that's about it. I think that's all that looks like it would fit with our city in its current state right now. And let's go to our fire. We have those 2 fire stations, but we also know we had unlocked a fire safety center. So let's take a look at that. Water's 480, fire capacity 5, 6, 480, 560 a week, 480 a week. So really it's just the upkeep cost that goes down. It looks like all the other things stay the same, and we lose 1 fire engine, which I think I'm actually okay with. And its cost is the same. Its cost is actually a little bit cheaper as well. That is actually kind of nice. I think we're going to be going with this new fire safety center. But as you can see, there's a blue building over here. This is the historical fire station. This one's from that seaside resorts as well. Its cost is even less. Its upkeep is even less. But its fire engine capacity is about 2/3 of this other one over here. And I'm not quite sure if its looks fit what I want the government area to look like. I actually don't even know if the fire safety center matches the looks. Actually, I don't think any of these match the looks, so I think we're going to go ahead and stick with the fire safety center. As for police, let's go ahead and look. We got the police security center, which is 8,000, while the regular one is 12,000. Wow, quite a bit cheaper. And it appears to be 80% of the police car capacity. Its water is less, and it looks like electricity is less as well, so I think we might go with this one just to kind of match the fire station. So yeah, now that we have it picked out, we know which fire station and which police station we want. Let's go ahead and unlock the tile and start building out. Alright, so I think just because of the awkward nature of this area right here, I think this is where I'd like the government and city services to be for the fire department, police station, and government offices and city hall. Right in there. I think that'd be kind of nice. Maybe we could even put in a little parks or something over here. I think that'd be kind of nice. We can even expand our residential over here, but we do have districts now. So go ahead and get some of these zoned in, such as the commercial over here. I know for a fact I want the organic and local produce, especially if we're going to be getting into the agricultural thing. We want to have our commercial using most of our own goods that we make. So that leads us into our next thing. Industry. We're going to need to change this to farming industry. So when you read the industry policy for this, where is it right here? It'll say that it requires fertile land renewable. That's not actually true. If you want your industry to produce raw goods, then you need to put the industry over fertile land. If you want it to process those raw goods into something, you put it over non-fertile land. And so that's what this industry over here is going to do. It's going to be a processing industry. So that way later on when we do unlock the actual industries, we can put down our farms over here on the fertile land. They'll produce the raw material. Some of it will go over here to these generic industries, and some of it will get shipped off. And then from there, all of our commercial will pull most of their demand from these, and whatever they don't, they'll import, I guess. But that is our industry there. And just so that way we can kind of have an idea of what our populations are in each of these little districts here, we're going to go ahead and throw down some residential districts here. just to kind of see. And so we can ban, later on when we do get more policies, we can ban heavy traffic in some of these zones. I'm going to pull it off that main road though. We don't want to ban heavy traffic in this one because we do still have our commercial over there, but we can ban it over here. And since we haven't developed this zone here, and I know I want residential here, I was actually thinking it would be kind of nice if we could take advantage of our new residential of self-sufficient buildings. And I think it would be really nice to see that right across from the town center area. Just to kind of like show off, like if they have any visitors come to town, like anybody from another city, any government official, they can look across from this area here and see all of the self-sufficient homes and the farming industry. Everything that kind of just makes this town what it is. So here we are. I put the fire department on this side and the police department on this side. I want the fire department over here so it has quicker and easier access to the industry, because those are typically what has the highest chance to catch on fire. And the police station over here on this side, I wanted them as close to the main road here as possible, just so that way they have an easier time getting around town. Because putting them right in the middle of a neighborhood, they might have a lot of turns to make and whatnot. And the speed limit tends to be a little bit slower in residential anyways. So something I wanted to point out is we did put our district over this. Oh, we can do district styles now. I forgot about that. I'm not sure if this affects industry or not, but we'll find out. I don't think I want to find out. I think we'll just leave it alone for now. But as you can see, people are demolishing their buildings and instead putting up new industry. So that's why I don't want to change these to eco-friendly homes, because it'll immediately demolish as many homes as possible and replace them with the eco-friendly ones. But with industry, it doesn't really matter, because that we don't have to worry about industrial death waves. The only death waves we have to worry about is with residential. And you can see the same thing happened over here with our commercial. With this asset here, that's actually something I don't really understand, how this is organic and local produce, but it's an electric carport. I think it did come with, I think, the Green Cities DLCs, so I mean, I guess that's why they put it in there, but I think it should have just been like a generic commercial. I don't know. I guess it makes sense. Just not to me. Oh, that's kind of cool. They've got a patio on the roof. That's actually really cool. I like that a lot. I want to make that historical. Well, I guess there's only one level, so it can't really change. This is kind of really nice, I think. Wait, what happened to our... Oh, because our demand dropped. So let's just go ahead and add that back real quick until it comes back up. So we got our districts now. We're going to go ahead and put our new residential there of eco-friendly. We've already swapped our industry to forestry. Got our districts there. Swapped that district. Oh, that's right. We want to put in our Korean food market. So let's see where we would like to place this. I think on this side would actually be kind of nice, but I'm not quite sure how I want to. Let's pull it out and see how it looks. So it's really wide and long. I mean, it's not wide, it's really long and narrow. I think I'm actually going to pull a road off of this one. Just a small one. Turn on all of our guidelines here. Ooh, but if we want them across from each other, let's pull it in just a little bit, maybe right about here. And then at a later date, we can put our winter market here, depending on how it looks with it. But for now, we can go ahead and put our Korean food market right over here. I think right there looks just fine. There we go. There's our food alley. It'll start attracting tourists, which will bring us a little bit more money. And hopefully in the long run, it will make up for its cost in... Why does that... Why is it not in the water range? I don't understand. Oh, because our water availability is low. Got it. You know what? We're going to add a water tower right next to the fire department. I think that would look kind of nice. You know, you got the fire department, the water tower. And look at that, we got our demand for residential, but I think we've hit all of the things we want this time. We did our unique building, we did our districts with our district policies, we did emergency services, police department, we did our agriculture, we didn't do forestry, but we can go ahead and think about doing that possibly later in the future. Got our self-sufficient buildings. Actually, why don't we go ahead and implement some forestry, even just a little bit. Doesn't even have to be a whole lot. It can just be a couple rows of it. Just like that. Let's go ahead and shrink this down. Yeah, let's go ahead and put a new one in here. Right over here. Alright, so we got our farming, we got our forestry, which will process trees and paper byproducts into usable goods. Let's see what else. We do have our self-sufficient buildings, we have our organic and local produce. We didn't do any of the policies because they're expensive. And we took care of our buildings. Actually, you know what would be kind of nice? I think we can apply just the smoke detector policy to the industry to lower its risk of fire. We'll take a hit to our budget, but I think that's okay. There we go, just like that. So there we go, now we have policies, we have... Actually, for this one, before we even begin, we'll set our power usage and water usage. Since it's already supposed to be self-sufficient, let's go ahead and try and reduce that as much as possible over there. So there we go, I didn't want to add some things, but I ended up doing it anyways. And that is about it for this one. We're at a population of 1040 in the 1000s, low 1000s. We've hit our milestone. We have plenty of areas. I think we're actually starting to work out in a way that I'm happy with. I think next on the list for next time will be to upgrade some of these roads that already have the water under them. Satisfy our residential demand until we hit the next milestone and see what we can implement from there. Thank you very much for joining. Thank you for watching. I appreciate it. And I hope to see you next time.